Hi everyone. So today we are here in conversation with Dr. Deepa Dixit, who is a Senior Associate Dean at Welingkar School, Bombay. We'll be talking to her to understand the future of management education in India and everything that the V School offers. Hello ma'am.
Hello.
Welcome on board. It is certainly first of all our pleasure to see you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
And we have got a bunch of questions which has come from the student fraternity.
Okay.
I'm going to represent them so that we
Right.
can possibly answer all these questions that the students have in their mind post writing all these exams what has just gone by.
Sure. Good for a role reversal to be asked questions. Okay.
So, ma'am, we know you work as a capacity of a senior dean.
Yes.
Tell us what are some of the priorities you, being as a dean, have kept for yourself, which is largely in line with the vision of V School that can possibly have a high level impact on the career outcomes after Welingkar.
So, I'd like to say that I'm also an alumni of Welingkar and been part of the journey from many years now. One of the biggest change that the group director, Dr. Uday Salunke, has initiated as a leader and all the deans and senior faculty have brought in to the brand has been that we have to have an insight of what is going to define the future. So if you look at 2000, when the dot-com industry kind of, really started off, that's perhaps a time when a lot of these students were born or just about to be born. So that was the time when we started an e-business program. And if you look at the alumni today of Welingkar, you will see a lot of people with a technology background or in businesses which has adopted technology. So I think that has been the biggest, you can say, turning point for Welingkar, where we have looked at which is the industry, which is the sector, or which is that functionality that is going to require talent from a business school, and how may we create that kind of a talent. So 2000, it was e-business. In 2002, we started some programs in retail. These were short-term programs. So we have this, you can say, a little bit of mantra where we say, let's try it out as a short-term program. Let's offer it as a vertical, as a value add. And then if we see that, yes, there is space and there is role for a full mature, a PGDM or an MBA program, then we will offer that to the students because now industry is ready to take them in those kind of roles.
Yeah.
So way back in 2002, even in retail, people were not really growing after doing an MBA program. So by the time we put that into place, and we put certain, important parameters that are required in the retail industry in the MBA program, then we saw that there is traction over there. Then we said, look, this seems to be the strategic way of building MBA programs that continue to stay relevant and not just, remain stuck with offering only functional specializations.
Yeah.
Because 2-3 parts are changing. One, the cohort, the student background, the number of students who are coming with work experience, the number of students coming from earlier used to be a big chunk of engineers.
Yeah.
Now that is changing. You have liberal arts, sciences, pharma graduates, agribusiness students, a whole lot of them. And then your industry is changing. So apart from the global careers, there's a lot happening in India and a lot of people are required in that space. So when so many moving parts are there, your program has to be dynamic. You cannot stay stuck with, and make just incremental changes.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Welingkar has focused on. How can we make quantum changes for the student and be meaningful to industry? That has always driven our strategies in the past.
So amazing. I think Welingkar has evolved from giving one generic evergreen core PGDM program to now 8 specialized PGDM programs, right?
Yes.
Now tell us, what is the future of management education in India in this line? Do you think all the students will not be made for one general MBA program, or they would be the sectoral MBA program will also be the preferred choices in time to come?
I'm already seeing sectoral MBA programs as a preferred choice. For example, let's say we have students who choose the healthcare management program very consciously. It's their top choice. as compared to a regular PGDM. Of course, many of them come with that background. So, if you look at the shift, no, what has happened is uh, businesses, whatever be the business, they are going to need somebody to take care of their finances. They are going to need a way of reaching out to their customers. They are going to need operational efficiency, and they are going to need people management, and they are going to need technology. This is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But just this is not enough. If you cannot empathize with my business, if it is a healthcare business, if you cannot empathize with my media business, you can't empathize with agri products, you cannot empathize with how I run my retail business, or how I use design thinking in my business, or as an entrepreneur you are not able to understand. You have to do all of this, but hey, you have to understand the flavor of what we have, what is the base. Yeah. So without that, it's not like one size fits all. You have to understand the sectoral requirements. So I think that's going to be a plus and must have in the future, because the pace at which industry wants to grow, the turnaround times, the time that you have to prove your ROI and proof of concept, all of that, the pace has changed. So to get somebody who knows only basics and join your industry vis-a-vis somebody who also understands sectorally what is happening in your business, you would certainly choose the one with the cherry on top. So I think there's going to be a lot of value for that. The 2-year MBA program will certainly have to shift gears, and I think we've started doing that, at least at Welingkar. So, going back to our philosophy of adding value, staying relevant, we started with business design in 2007, and that was a time when design as such was not understood in management parlance. And today it is a must-have in all boardrooms. You can't think about innovation and entrepreneurship without design thinking. So, what we did was, when we started the business design program, a lot of research, it was new to us. Kudos to the leadership and all the faculty who became students. We looked at IDEO. We had people from IDEO in the US. It's one of the most innovative companies offering solutions across sectors. We also did a project with Stanford with their design thinking lab, and that really gave us confidence. And at that point in time, it was Mr. Kishore Biyani and Dr. Uday Salunke who put their heads together and said, this is a space that has to, you have to work on this, because this is going to define a whole lot of things. That became a part of the DNA at V-School. And it's part of the regular MBA program and all other programs, which is design thinking. Of course, the business design program goes further deeper, but the principles of design was embedded across. Similarly, technology, it's embedded across. You have emerging technologies and concepts of technology embedded across programs to the extent that you have to, these are, non-negotiables as on today. So, even to keep your existing program relevant to the time that it is relevant, we keep adding these important pieces so that there is a genre of students who are taking this program and it's relevant for them, but they should speak a language and know the business in its current form. That's how we are building that program.
So you're saying first there has to be some level of love with the sectoral programs that you want to be a part of.
Yes.
From the student side.
Yes.
But let's say from the selection perspective, how challenging would this be from a B school side?
Yeah.
To find whether this guy would be a right fit for which program? The 8 programs. I think majorly all the students will at least fill 4 or 5 alternatives to be a part of some program at Welingkar.
Yes.
Right. So tell us, what are the things that you evaluate the candidates upon to find out, okay, hey, there's a guy, Abhijit, who could be the right fit for design program and not for the retail program. So what goes as the input matrix from your side?
So from the input matrix, the GDPI process or the selection process at Welingkar, traditionally we have said if we want people in different programs, we have to know what are we looking for in those programs. So it's not one GDPI score that runs across for the student for all the programs. There are various parameters that we have created a matrix, and we have said if somebody has applied for design, then these are the qualities that we are looking for. So look for these qualities in the application, in their achievements, and in the way they respond to certain questions which are asked in the interview. So let us say somebody like Abhijit is interested in business design. We are certainly looking at curiosity level of the person, ability to think, differently, ability to observe. It's good to say that I have empathy, but in your response, does that show in the way you are responding? If I give you a business situation and I say, okay, if you have to set up a business and I'm ready to pay you, give you 10 crores and say you begin something. What business would you begin? Where would you begin and why? So it's an open playing ground. What parameters become important for you? ROI and growth and all of that is given. That is hygiene factor of any business. But then that reveals a lot about you. We also have a PIQ, which is a personality interview questionnaire. And there we ask certain questions to understand, because in an interview, there is only a finite amount of time. So we ask certain questions to understand your personality better. And we feel that has really helped both in the selection process and I think even for the student, because when they are responding, they do tend to understand, they might feel these are very easy questions, I could answer them, which is very nice, because we don't want people to feel restricted and unable to respond, because only when you respond I can evaluate you. So we try and make that kind of a question mix, and we have a matrix. So if you're somebody who is interested in business analytics, for that matter, and business analytics involves both. It involves your math and ability to crunch numbers, unafraid of number crunching and technology to some, to a large extent, and also to read that number and see, what meaning does it make for the business. So you need both. So I just don't need a number cruncher, because in the future AI might just take over all that. I also need somebody who makes sense of it, business sense of it, and how will I use this both. So if you're saying I want to take research and business analytics, and you don't have an inquiring mind, and or you're afraid of number crunching, it's not for you. So we do conduct certain sessions even before the interviews to say, look, if you're marking this as a program preference, it's not easy. I mean, it's not something which is, going to be very simple. You have to be able to put in the hard work. We have had people with a non-math background who have got into the program, but they're willing, because they're unafraid and they have an aptitude for it and they're willing to learn it, and they have done well in it. But if you are not that category, not willing to put in that hard work, it shows, and that's not something that we encourage.
I think there's a lot of evaluation which has already been set to select the right candidate for the right program, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So amazing. But how important is going to be the pre-MBA profile of a student? Should there be a synergy between the academic background they're coming from and the specialization of their choice? Or should there be relevance with respect to the exposure in the work environment that they have been in the past, and then choosing the right specialization? What is your guidance or advice?
So I put it this way. Let's look at the end. At the end of the 2 years, the student is going to go out there and either work in an industry of his choice, whether it's healthcare, media, retail, or any of the Googles, or a bank, a consulting firm, whatever it is. And that choice that the student is going to make is going to propel him in that direction. So we have to be honest. If the background of the student helps that direction, we have to value it more. So let us say, you are a student who is a B.Tech or uh, a math or a stat student, and you have excelled in your academics and you want to do research and business analytics, and you have communication skills, you are more suitable for the research and business analytics program traditionally. But we have kept the door open for, we are not saying every science student who is great will do very well in that. Because we also look at liberal arts, we look at psychology. We've had a psychology student also take up RBA in the past, and she's done extremely well in that. So readiness and willingness is one thing which we'll have to evaluate, but the background helps us see a pattern. So if somebody in 21 years of their life has shown some some bits of excellence and purpose. See, we look at it this way: whatever be your purpose, have you worked in that direction to do something really wow, in that space? Then we can see that there is a spark. That if you set your mind, you can do it. That's what it really means. So I think that's what we look for. And background education, which is what stream you were in, also matters in specific programs. So if you are from the rural you're planning to take rural management, we see a lot of recruiters asking for people with BSc, MSc, Agri, because they want that background knowledge. I'm not going to sit here and teach you the basics of agri business. So they're saying, if you have that background and you've done this, great. Even the banking sector, for that matter, they recruit a lot of students from the rural management program, because where are banks really growing today? They are growing in these sectors. And if you have an insight of that sector, and you have done rural management, and you have learnt about microfinancing, and you have learnt banking in your MBA program, you're my man or woman.
Actually.
So therefore your background does matter. When it comes to making sure that you're able to fulfill your dreams. So the choice or the importance that we give is to that extent. Okay. So there are always outliers. And we welcome them. We've never said we'll not take in somebody who has, unless, they put their foot in their mouth, and it's a different story.
I think the door is going to be open for other students who are also not coming with the desired background of the synergy.
Absolutely.
The reason being, I think post completion of the 12th standard, still in India, people choose the undergrad program not by their own choice. It's a choice of the parents who have influenced them to take this course. And now possibly they are looking for some shift. After getting into the program for 3-4 years, then they understand this is not what I'm going to do.
Correct.
Right? This is not the sector made for me. And then I think MBA in the other sector programs or the general MBA program would make a right career choice.
I recently heard a podcast, and one of the leading actors, many of them, who've done engineering and then ditched it for whatever reasons, he said this again, and it's so valid. And the very fact that a student who is 21-year-old today can still relate to the movie Three Idiots, which is so many years back, means that is still happening. And what you're saying is absolutely right, that those choices are family push or peer group push or some sort of herd mentality. But point is, while you are doing that, what is it that you were doing alongside? So those are also some good giveaways. So were you part of some competitive sport? Were you part of some elocution, debating? What did you build as a personality? And I think communication therefore becomes very critical. That's something that's very important for us when we are looking at getting students.
Now ma'am, let's take one of those questions which is coming again from the students, which is selection of right course versus right campus.
Okay.
So before we get into the nitty-gritties of it, tell us what is common between Welingkar Mumbai and Welingkar Bangalore.
The brand. So when you say brand, it's a promise. And I think that is common between Mumbai and Bangalore. The whole idea of setting up the Bangalore campus was because it resonated with the DNA of Welingkar. We evaluated many other locations, both internationally also, and we decided on Bangalore because Bangalore was the hub of design thinking and technology. And these were two very, special areas which Welingkar said that our brand will contribute in this area. And these two are going to play a very significant role in business in the future. So, if you ask me what is common, it is the brand promise. This, a lot of times students say that's the main campus.
Yeah.
So this is like somebody was born before, somebody is going to be born before, and somebody is going to be born later. Doesn't mean they're any less or any
Yeah.
more. They are relevant in many other ways. We may have our own, plus and minus. I can tell you some things that the students told me because I also asked them, how did you choose? So some of them like Mumbai as a place for the energy that it has, and they want to be in a business school where there are 1,000 students. So my intake in Mumbai campus is 720. So you have a very large cohort, of course, across different sectoral programs, and they're happy to be in that environment. They want that. Somebody, because they're energized by that.
Yeah.
They also like Mumbai as a city. Some people like Bangalore as a city because of so many other things that it has to offer. It's known as the Silicon Valley of India, and it has a very different rhythm and culture to it. It is a smaller cohort. It has 270 students in every batch. So they feel I'll get a lot of more interaction time with the faculty. It's a smaller cohort. I work better in that kind of an environment.
Yeah.
So this is like asking somebody, would you like to join a large conglomerate, or would you like to join an organization which is, by the way, I don't think Welingkar Bangalore is very young now. It started in 2008, so it's almost more than 15 years now. So a campus which is smaller maybe in the number of students but has the same rhythm. So you have to choose where you want to be. So look at the city and look at the size.
Yeah.
Keeping these two things aside, I would say next thing they should really look for is the program that they want to be in. They can topple up this order depending on what is more important for them. So if you ask me, and I were doing my research and business analytics, I wouldn't personally, I may choose to go to Bangalore because I've lived a lot in Mumbai, but I would say I want to do RBA either in Mumbai or in Bangalore. Doesn't matter where, because the content is going to be good. The opportunities in this space are going to be very good. If I want to do business design in Mumbai or Bangalore, I'm very keen on doing business design, and we've had a lot of students like that.
Yeah.
So for them, it's like, I don't mind. I want Bangalore or I want Mumbai, but I want to do business design. So if you are, figure out whether you are a city person or, with city and all that matters, or is it the program and where you want to take your career matters. So if where you want to take your career matters, when you're putting your preferences, put as per your program preference. And then you should, then you can say, okay, Mumbai, Bangalore doesn't make any, the fees is the same.
Yeah.
Okay. The package averages of Mumbai and Bangalore are not like, the sky and the earth. So it's about a couple of lakhs difference.
Yeah.
And I think couple of lakhs after 2-3 years just disappears, and everybody, just grows and depends on your performance and, how you lead your career.
Yeah.
So I think if that is the botheration, ke package milega, then that should not be the worry. So if you ask me, I think I would put it this way: choose. Is the program really important for you? Then give priority to the program first. Then give priority to city and campus and all of that.
So if I have to conclude, it's the preference of the course first. Followed by
I would
that,
recommend that.
Yeah. Followed by that, I think you can look at all these elements where you can perform better. The smaller cohort, Bangalore, which has got a lot of the startup involvement help that you can get. I think there are a couple of incubation labs also which is being set up.
Yes.
Right. So these are the plus advantages that you can fix up.
Absolutely.
And take leverage on these pointers also.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing I want to say is, a lot of times I see students picking the PGDM core as their first option because they see that as the least risk option. Everything is open to them and all of that. They pick PGDM Mumbai, and the next immediate choice is PGDM Bangalore. And when they're offered PGDM Bangalore, then they're thinking a minute and say, can I get the Mumbai campus? So that's why I want to say, choose your program first and not your, campus.
Yeah. Ma'am, tell us, if you were a student at this age, let's say year 2024, considering your background and the aspirations that you might have set in this year, what are the top preferences? Let's say the top 4 preferences of programs and the combination of campuses that you might have put in Welingkar application.
That's really putting the money where your mouth is. Right. So, I'm a BSc Physics by graduation. So, looking at the current environment and looking at my own skills. So, what I like doing is I like solving problems. And I'm a creative person. I like to have multiple options in terms of, addressing anything. And I like interacting and talking to people. I observe things a lot. So these are qualities that I have. I would be lost without people. So, and looking at what is available to do, the first few options would comprise of, one would certainly be related to technology and number crunching. So it would be either e-business or research and business analytics. And I would certainly pick between media and business design, one of these. So these 4 will certainly find place. Yeah. And if I can pick one more, it would be rural management.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of the way things are growing and the challenges that are available to, to be solved in this space is a lot. So I think I would pick these.
So I think the selection of a right specialization, or the course rather, would also be in line with the future trends of that sector,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
You are not doing MBA for this year or 2026.
Correct.
Possibly you're looking at a very large impact of 5-10 years on the line.
Correct. Because by the time I finish my MBA, 2 years are going to go. And something is going to change, because every year something is changing. I know for sure that technology is going to be a part of anything that is going to change in the future, because you're looking at scale, you're looking at so many other aspects. So that's a part that I certainly want to learn. And I'm not afraid of learning it. And problem solving, I think, and rather problem identifying is also becoming a big science. Because solving can be done by so many other ways. I think knowing what problem to solve is an art. And I think business design teaches a lot of that. So that's something that would interest me.
Got the point. You mapped your skill set, you mapped your aspiration, you looked at the future trend and then chose the specialization, the courses, and then the campus.
Correct.
So amazing. Now, I think, again, the most relevant question at this stage would be about the cutoffs of all the programs.
Okay.
Right. So, if you can tell us, between Bombay and Bangalore across all the programs, I think you mentioned something about the groups that you have created, which is a combination of the campus and the specialization.
Correct.
Tell us a bit about it.
So, we have looked at 2 things. We have looked at the number of applications that generally we get for every program. And before I share the cutoff, I want to put this out very clearly, that a cutoff for us is a filter, because there are so many applications. And we have to use a filter to, say how many we will interview for that particular program. So it doesn't really say that this program is less important or you get less, but it's certainly an indication of the amount of interest we see, and that's why we put that cutoff. So we've created 3 groups. The first group is PGDM core, as students call it, e-business and research and business analytics. So these 3 programs are in group 1, and the CAT, ZAT and your GMAT cutoff for all these 3 is 80 percentile for Mumbai campus and 75 for the Bangalore campus. So the Bangalore campus, these programs fall in group 2. So maybe we can give you a slide which you can share with your students if you like. In group 2, we have business design, retail and media from Mumbai, and we have PG e-business and research and business analytics in Bangalore. So the cutoff for these two programs is going to be the same, which is 75 in CAT, XAT and GMAT. And then we have group 3. Why is it in group 3? Because these are really specialized courses, healthcare management and rural management. And we've also put the business design program in Bangalore in group 3, because again, the design program as such, especially for Bangalore, we feel that there are people from different backgrounds who want to apply into that. And we want to leave that door open for those students. So there it is 70 percentile and above across any exam. It can be CAT, XAT, GMAT, CMAT, ATMA, whatever it is. For CMAT, again, the cutoffs are different. We have 85 for group 1, 80 for group 2 and 70 for group 3.
Now let's link it with the application stages also. I think the phase 1 application is already over.
Yeah, the results are going to be out soon. Yeah.
I firstly want to understand the philosophy of keeping different rounds, round 1 and round 2. What is uncommon between these two? And second is, if someone is looking at Welingkar at this stage, what is the application journey that he has to go through?
So phase 1 is primarily for CAT, XAT and GMAT applicants. See, the CAT, fortunately, and also XAT happen on the said month and time over the years. So there is a brand promise there, I will say. And that is very helpful. So this happens in November and the results are out. CAT happens in November, results out in December. XAT exams happen in the month of January. By almost end of January, the results are out. Now, the next set of exams that we take, which is CMAT. Unfortunately, earlier it used to happen around March at least, but that's been delayed. So what we said is, a student who has given an exam in November, December or Jan, for them to wait till the CMAT exams are over in the month of April, or last year it was May, it's unfair because they don't know their situation and they have multiple offers. And then you see students going and taking admission in places which is not really their choice, because they don't know their situation with better brands. So we said, let's segregate this. And we also have a large cohort. So we have like 720 in Mumbai and 270 in Bangalore. So that's 990, almost 1,000 students. And we said it'll make it'll be very fair to students if we just break this up and look at how many people are applying to us with CAT, XAT and GMAT and complete the process for them and put out the results. Earlier, we used to complete the process but put out the results common. And we said that's not helping the students. So we said, let's do this. And there are a good number of seats which are also there for students who apply in phase 2. And everything that we do in phase 1, we do in phase 2 also. Only in phase 2, there is no profile cutoff because there is a must-have percentile cutoff. So those students who have applied in phase 1, they'll get their results. If they don't get selected, there will be multiple rounds. There are certain number of seats, but below a certain overall score, we don't go down. We wait, and then the phase 2 results are declared. Then once the phase 2 results are declared, if still there are certain seats, then phase 1 students can still get an opportunity in phase 2. So all is not lost types. And there is one upgrade or you can say one jump we allow in the program in terms of preference. So let us say, for me, RBA was my first choice, and second choice was e-business, and third choice was business design. And if I got into business design in phase 1 and I took my admission, I can wait it out, pay my fees and see if I can get a jump into e-business or RBA. and I don't have to apply again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to fill another application form, give more money to Welingkar, none of all that. So one application form works for both your phases. You have to only update your percentile score, and we recalculate your overall score if there has been any enhancement in your percentile score. So that's about it.
Well, what's going to happen with the GAPA process? A student who has appeared for the complete list of activities.
So
given
they
the
wait out.
Yeah.
They wait
Yeah.
out till phase 2. If they have not made the cutoff, then they wait it out for phase 2.
Yeah.
So one might wonder, then why did we give the GAPI in phase
Yes.
1? The advantage is that the moment the CMAT results are declared, etc., you know your situation. You have more clarity. And if you have not made the cutoff of 70 or 75, then certainly you're also in a boat where you're looking for more options.
Yeah.
So might as well wait and do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But for the general candidate who has not applied for Welingkar, it's going to be a fresh application altogether.
Absolutely. Fresh application.
Right? Yeah. And where he has to appear for the PIQ followed by the GAPI process, right? Tell us some details about what is peculiar about PIQ process. I know it's not a evaluation for rejection of the students, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Right? So what is the relevance of PIQ for Welingkar? That's one. What are some of the parameters or things that they have to take care of while filling the application?
So the purpose of the PIQ is to help you put out a picture of your personality, which will help the interviewer. Okay. So whether it is certain soft skills related to your leadership quality, related to how you make decisions, those are qualities that we want to know about you. Now, somebody can be a quick decision maker, and somebody can be may take time in taking a decision, but there are certain other characteristics that emerge out of it.
Yeah.
Both are right and wrong in its own. I mean, it's all situational. But what we want to know is generally what is your personality. And when we talk to you in an interview, we are guided by that. And that helps the interview become richer. So in today's environment, you have to have certain amount of leadership at every level. And also what you need to have is ability to manage conflicts, manage difficult situations. Social media today is filled with it. You put one thing, there can be you can be sued. So you are in a situation where you're constantly being judged. So you can't escape conflict. How do you deal with this? So these are things, we can't have a very detailed interview of hours together. It's a, half an hour interview at best. So how do you get all this? So this kind of helps the interviewer know the person beyond the graduation, the accolades and all of that. There's a person behind all this. So we want to know that person. So the best way to deal with this PIQ is don't think too much. Don't overthink. Go with the flow. If a question is asked, just respond as you best would do in a natural situation. Don't try to overthink it. It just doesn't help. Yeah.
Got the point. So I think it is just to make sure that the best thing comes out of a candidate.
Yes.
Right. So, and at the same time, you have to make sure that the candidate is also behaving naturally in the interview also, right? I'm sure the interviewers will also be able to understand who has actually returned these PIQ answers and who is here.
So the PIQ is a multiple choice question.
Yeah.
So there's no essay in that.
Yeah.
So you don't need ChatGPT if that's what you're asking me. But the application has some entrance, or in the application form, it has some descriptive questions, answers which you're supposed to write. And there, if you're going to use technology like ChatGPT or any other format and create responses to it, it's not going to sound like you.
Yeah.
So I can never sound like Martha. Okay. So if I'm not sounding like Martha in the interview and I sound like Martha in the essay answer, it's a giveaway. So it's actually your first test of integrity you've failed. Yeah. And then the rest of everything that you say is questionable. So this is something that we tell students. Taking help is not a problem. Finding information, why you want to do the rural management program, or why you want to do the retail management program, or where is e-business headed, go all out and ask ChatGPT and everybody else whatever you want to ask. Go and talk to somebody also, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why you want to do it
It's a personal choice.
is why you want
Yeah,
to do it, not why ChatGPT wants to do it.
Or rather, why ChatGPT wants you to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And even ChatGPT is smart enough to say these are choices based on my wisdom. It always puts a disclaimer and says, but yours could be a different approach. So even ChatGPT is telling you, be yourself.
So amazing. And finally, what are some of the tips that you want to share with all the students for the PI round?
I think for the PI round, being prepared is important. Look at your own application, read every word of it, because that's you in front of the interviewer, because they don't have anything else. Be sure why you have put something over there. Before you take a printout of that application, if there are some corrections, make it. Make sure you're not making spelling mistakes, because that shows you care or you don't care. Be well groomed. And well groomed means being simple but well groomed. We are not looking for people to wear blazers and brands, but we are certainly looking at the brand behind that, that outerwear that you are. But don't distract me with, a ill-dressed person, because then the next 15 minutes will go justifying why you are dressed like this. I don't think that's the purpose of the interview. Next thing is, there are certain, parts in an interview. One is about yourself. Second is about what you have done and why you have done it. And if you have work experience, what value did that place give to you, and what is it that you contributed? Third, at the last bit would be, why do you want to do what you want to do? Why are you getting onto this tree? I think some clarity on this part will help you feel at ease. If you're a fresher and you've just graduated, and let's say you want to take up finance, and as an interviewer, I'm asking you certain questions on, let's say, the golden rules of accounting, and you're looking at me like it's something new that you've heard for the first time as an accounts or a BCom graduate, that's not good. Because what that tells me is, you've invested 3 years of your life in a degree of which you remember nothing. And so I don't know what I can expect from you. So you have to, I think, remember that when you go for that interview, they are also looking for brands, which is the promise that you can keep. And are you trainable? Are you attitudinally in the right place? What kind of attitude do you carry about yourself? What is your outlook towards people around you? I think these things matter. So integrity, being authentic, being knowing things about what you have done, all these have tremendous value in an interview.
Do you think doing research about the institution and the programs also helps?
Doing research about the program 100% helps, because and institutes go all out and put so much information,
No doubt.
be it on Instagram, be it on Facebook, on the website, so many videos, and all of that. Make use of it. Figure out why a particular program, where it's headed, what do they offer. I think that helps you prepare your answers also very, effectively.
Yeah, in a very natural way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And knowing something about the institute certainly matters. But nobody is going to ask you, who was the founding member. I mean, I've not seen somebody ask that question, because the interview is more about unraveling the student in front of you for what they are. There might be 1 or 2 questions which somebody turns around and asks, and it's okay if you don't know. You're not going to get kicked out for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it's a plus advantage, the more the research you can do.
Yes.
I think the better the story you can carve and link it with the program and the institution ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It tells it's good you put it that way, because it tells you that you care about what you're doing, and it matters to you that you're here.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you're doing your best.
Yeah.
I think that is what it spells out.
Yeah.
So, I've also seen a lot of students, who wait for the student to come out of the interview room, and they are like, what did they ask you? So that's one thing I will say, don't do.
Yeah.
Because before you go into a place of an interview, very important is being calm and
Yeah.
being collected. So why would you intentionally spoil that calmness? Whatever has happened. So just stick to your game and play it to the best of your knowledge. Yeah.
So amazing. In the end, ma'am, what message do you want to share with all the students who are looking at Welingkar for the upcoming cohort batch? What should they be ready with if at all they are looking at V School?
So I think if you're looking at Welingkar for the upcoming cohort batch, have an open mind. Don't prejudge a program before you find out more about it. For example, we've had alumni from the first batch of the e-business program or the first batch of which was started in 2000, 2002, who are today running organizations that recruit 2000 odd people. So that was not the core program as such. We've also had the core program people turn entrepreneurs. What you have to do is keep an open mind, prepare your best, and be ready to put in the work that is required to fulfill your dreams. When you do that, things will happen. Do one thing at a time, but be in the moment and act on it. Don't just imagine it, just act on it. Very, very important. And I think that's what V School also stands for.
All right, Deepa ma'am, thank you so much again for taking time out and talking to us and patiently answering all the questions which has come from the students.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. It was a pleasure talking with you
much,
today.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yeah.